Hey, Southing Airlines Math and History, and we're gonna be simplifying equations with fractions. So in the last video, we were just simplifying the equations, but this video, we're gonna do them with fractions. So we've been solving equations like x plus 7 equals 10, and 5x plus 9 equals 40. But what happens if we have, instead, x plus 1 over 2, or x plus 1 half, equals 64 divided by 8? Well, what we could do is try to get x alone again. We have to shift it in reverse again.
Well, yeah, but...
Just do what you do in school.
Well, okay. Wait, don't tell me.
Back it up.
Huh?
Back it up.
Right, back it up.
Back it up!
Okay.
Shift into reverse, SpongeBob.
Reverse. Oh, yeah, reverse.
Back it up!
Back it up!
So, the first thing that we can do right here is we don't have a coefficient in front of the variable. What we do see is something that doesn't seem to be normal. 64 over 8 is known as an improper fraction. Going back to your early years of mathematics, an improper fraction happens when your number on the top, or the numerator, is a lot bigger than the denominator. That means that an improper fraction must be greater than 1. Like 64 divided by 8, or 64 over 8, is definitely going to be more than 1. A common improper fraction that you will see in school is 3 over 2. And that can be put into 1 and 1 over 2 as a mixed number. Improper fractions must be greater than 1. So, going from here, 64 as a numerator and 8 as a denominator, we can change that down to an 8. Because 64 divided by 8 is 8. So x plus 1 half equals 8. The last thing we gotta do is subtract this by 1 over 2, and subtract that by 1 over 2. When we do that, 8 minus by 1 half, x is going to represent, or x is going to be 7 and 1 half, or if you want it as a decimal, 7.5. That sounded a bit easy when you simplify the fractions. That sounded a little bit easy when you don't have a fraction as a coefficient. But let's try something challenging. Okay, so here is the challenge. We have 3 over 4 x plus 4 in parentheses equals 1 over 2 1 half x minus 8 in parentheses. We wanted to put the parentheses in there so you won't be confused. Actually, we never needed the parentheses because there's no multiplying in here. There's actually no multiplying. So let's get started. When you simplify any kind of equation with a variable, like x or y, you always got to follow the rule, where you have to have your variable on one side and have a number on the other side. When you do that, you understand what number represents x, or what number is equal to x. But the problem is, we have 2 x's. But not to worry, we can do something to solve it out and figure it out. What we could do is think, what is the most efficient way we can solve this? Well, we have a 3 over 4x and a 1 over 2x. What we're gonna do is make this the variable side and make this the number side to make it a bit easier. We gotta move that 1 over 2 to that side. Here's an example. We have to subtract by 1 over 2 or subtract by 1/2 because we have a positive 1 right there. When you make a move, when you simplify, you must perform the opposite move that the equation is showing you. So you have to subtract this side by 1 over 1/2x as well. That will bring us to just 1 over 4x. Now we have 1 over 4x plus 4 equals -8 or -8. We have our variable on one side, but we still have a problem. We still have that 4 right here. We have to move that to the number side. So we have to subtract that by 4 and subtract this side by 4. That'll give us 1 over 4x equals -12. So we do have a variable on one side, but we also have a number on the other side. There is a rule that we forgot to explain in this video that we're going to explain right now. When you have an x or a variable equal to a number, that x has to be completely isolated from anything else. You cannot have a coefficient like the variable ax. That is not allowed. That's never allowed in mathematics. If you try and do that, your math teacher on your math tests or math exams will always say, this can be simplified even further. So, 1 over 4 is a number, and it's right in front of the x, which is something that we don't want to happen. So we gotta divide this by 1 over 4, and divide this by 1 over 4. Cross that out, because 1 over 4 divided by 1 over 4 is x or 1. The problem is, how can you do -12 divided by 1 over 4? -12 divided by 1 over 4? Huh? We can rewrite that as -12 over 1. Divide that by 1 over 4. But if you ever learned how to divide fractions, you're not really dividing. You're actually doing the opposite. We said earlier in the video that if you add, you subtract, and if you subtract, you add. Every time you make a move when you simplify, you must make the opposite direction the equation is telling you. So since we divided, we have to multiply by the reciprocal instead. So we have -12 over 1. Multiply that by 4 over 1. Because we have to multiply that by the reciprocal. So we have -48. Divide that by 1. Because we have to cross multiply. When you have a negative with a positive, it will become a negative number. So here is our answer. -48. So we can say that this problem right here, x is going to represent or equal -48. Doing just this problem took at least like 2 or 3 minutes to complete the problem for x. But in the next few videos, there is a secret hack to completing and simplifying for x. There is a strategy that we're going to unveil in the next video, but you'll just have to wait and tune in. And that is how you can get a preview on how to simplify the equations solved for x with fractions. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you for watching Taoping Airlines Math Industry. Like and subscribe. And let's see what happens to SpongeBob and Squidward when they put the boat in reverse. Remember, opposites apply, so the opposite of forward is backwards.
Give me the wheel, SpongeBob! Give me the wheel!
Backing up! Backing up! Backing up! Backing up! Backing up! Backing up!
Well, you backed up. And you know what? I think we're out of gas. And you know what else? We're in the middle of nowhere!